All right. Now I see it. Thank you, Byron. First in the chat room. And first to tell me that I was muted. All right, welcome into the show, everybody. This is, we do this every Monday through Friday, noon till about 2 o'clock. We call it High Noon. I am Pugs Moran. I am your humble host. We do accept tips. You can tip the show if you enjoy what you want, what you're hearing, and you want to keep us going. Please help out if you can. Also, we do another show. We do a second stream, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. We call that one Pillow Talk. Pugs and Parker proudly present Pillow Talk on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. We do that not every day, not like this one, Monday through Thursday. You know, we can only be so blessed as to have James with us 4 days a week. That's actually not true. He'd probably do it 7 days a week. All right, what do we do on this show? Well, this show is all about headlines, hot topics, current events, trends. If it's something that's happening right now, if people are talking about it online or in work or in line at Starbucks or whatever it is, if it's something people are buzzing about today, I try and give it to you here in these 2 hours, just so that when you go forth out into this world, you have at least some idea of what people might be talking about. I'll give you an example. Somebody today mentions, hey, did you hear what Chris Mad Dog Russo said? You can say, yeah, because I listen to High Noon. I know exactly what you're talking about. We don't do politics. We don't do anything that's divisive. We don't do culture war bullshit. We don't do any of that kind of stuff. We simply do just fun, over the fence, neighbors talking about the world, not looking to get into a fight. Now, how does that differ from the Pillow Talk show, which comes on at 9 p.m.? Well, Pillow Talk is me and Parker. It's a bit more conversational. This, I like to say, is utilitarian. That is a bit more just laid back, have a couple of cocktails and talk for a while at 9 o'clock at night. So there you have it. Those are the 2 shows, Monday through Thursday for Pillow Talk, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's Pugs and Parker's Pillow Talk. And then Monday through Friday, High Noon. Let's get into what High Noon is, okay? Let's start the show. High Noon for the 14th day of September, year of our Lord 2022. September 14th is the 257th day of the year. There are 108 days remaining until the end of the year. So as we like to say around here, get those New Year's Eve plans started. Let's see here. We like to go through the history of the day first. The first thing we do is we figure out what's going on with today. What else happened today? What can we expect from today? What has September the 14th throughout history represented? What has it meant? What happened? So that we get into the history here. On this day in 1782, this is during the American Revolutionary War, review of the French troops under General Rochambeau by George Washington at Verplancks Point, New York. Now, why is this important? Because this was the official teaming up of the French forces with us, the Americans. I guess we were rebels. Yeah, we were revolutionaries against the British Empire. We'll call it an empire. Sure, why not? And it's just one of those things, man. What the French did in coming to our aid. Now, granted, they had some self-serving reasons. For one, your enemy's enemy is your friend, as I believe, is that a MacArthur quote or is that a Patton quote? That ain't a Patton quote. Is it a Patton quote? That doesn't sound like a Patton quote. Your enemy's enemy is your friend. I don't know. Somebody said that, but that's kind of why the French joined us in the Revolutionary War, because they hated England. They're like, oh, somebody's dicking with England? Okay, let's get involved in that and let's help England get dicked around a little bit. 1901. That's right. Nothing happened. Not a whole. Honestly, this day, I put together this day in history, and there's not a whole lot of. There's a couple of interesting little tidbits, but we'll run through the history here. On this day in 1901, U.S. President William McKinley dies after being mortally wounded on September 6th by anarchist Leon. Can't even pronounce that name. The guy who shot and killed McKinley, his last name was spelled C, Z, as in Zorro, O, L. Chat room. All right, I want the chat room involved in this. Okay, you guys try and tell me. You guys try and pronounce this name. You tell me. I know we're not going to be able to see how you do it, but tell me how you would pronounce this name. The guy who shot President William McKinley. Leon C. Z as in Zorro. O. L. G. O. S. Z. Once again, C-Z-O-L-G-O-S-Z. How do you pronounce that? I don't even know what that is. I don't even know. I'm looking at that. There's a lot of Z's involved there. I'm going to take a guess. Leon Zalgo. Just get some Eurotrash accent and spin it on there, and you'll probably get it close. Leon Salzgiz. There you go. We'll just call him that. By the way, that was how Roosevelt became president. Roosevelt was McKinley's vice president, and it was only after the assassination of President McKinley that we got Teddy Roosevelt. Look at that. So don't be sleeping on your vice presidents. Sometimes your vice presidents turn out to be ballers. Let's see here. Let's jump up. Let's jump up to 1960. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, is founded. What was OPEC? OPEC was in response to what was famously known as the Seven Sisters. Oh, crazy. Oh, sorry. Can't take that call. OPEC was known, or the Seven Sisters were essentially the seven major oil companies globally who controlled oil export and prices and all that kind of stuff. And it was on this day that OPEC, they all got together and they went, why is the middleman setting the prices? Why should we? So there you go. That's why OPEC was in response to the Seven Sisters who controlled the flow and pricing of oil throughout the globe. And at some point around 1960, well, this day is when it was formed, all those countries, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, all those countries, they all got together and they went, hey, why don't we all get together and set the price instead of just, individually negotiating with the Seven Sisters. And that's why gas prices are so expensive. Okay, let's keep going. 1975. The first American saint, Elizabeth Ann Seton, is canonized by Pope Paul VI. Elizabeth Ann Seton, one day she was just Lizzie from the block. And then the other day, some magic guy in a crazy outfit went, and she became a saint. So, if you believe in magic, that's a thing that happened. Other than that, she was probably just a really cool chick who did a lot of really good stuff. She didn't shit the bed with her life, if you will. But a saint? I don't know. What comes with that? Wings? Some kind of magic scepter? I don't know. Can you grant wishes? You're like a genie? Can a saint grant? I don't know. What do you get a saint on your side? What is that? What kind of pull does a saint have? What do they got? They got magic powers? I don't know. Let's see. What else do we have here on this day in 1989? The Standard Gravure shooting. I don't know what this is. Now, this is 1989. This is a mass shooting at a workplace is this in Kentucky? Standard Gravure, I think it's in Kentucky. Joseph T. Westbecker, a 47-year-old pressman, killed 8 people and injured 12 at his former workplace. This was back in the day when we called these kinds of actions going postal. Oh, it was cute. It was, don't go postal. Oh, he's going postal. And why do we do that? Because, for a period of time, the only people who seemed to be shooting up workplaces were postmen. And, the conversation became, well, it's because they're under so much pressure and it's because, the federal government, all that nonsense came in. When really, I think it was just 2 postmen who blew their lids. And, suddenly they became, because nobody else was doing workplace shootings. Well, that's all changed. We know that now everybody does shootings everywhere. You can be unemployed and be killed in a shooting. Let's see here. What else happened? On this day in 1994, this is a very big day for me. I remember this day. This is probably on this day in 1994, the worst baseball day of my life. Oh, God, I remember this. On this day in 1994, Major League Baseball canceled their season. They canceled it. We're in the home stretch. 1994, Major League Baseball cancels the season. Boy, man, at that point, I had been a White Sox fan for 24 years of my life, and they had been basic garbage for the most of my life. And in 1994, I think they were like 12 games ahead in first place. They were loaded, man. Wilson Alvarez, Jack McDowell. I'm trying to think of who else we had on that pitching staff. I don't remember. Robin Ventura, Frank Thomas, Tim Raines. Come on, you guys. We had an amazing team in 1994. An amazing baseball team. And it was our year. And then the strike happened. All right, 2007 on this day, the financial crisis. Remember that when that whole thing started? Okay, so this was a big turning point in the financial crisis. The Northern Rock Bank experiences the first bank run in the history of the United Kingdom. Hold on. I need to take a break here for a second because my phone is blowing up. Somebody who knows that I'm on the air should not have been calling. Ooh. Okay. Hold on a second, you guys. Hold on. We're gonna deviate from the way we typically do things around here. I'm gonna make a quick phone call. All right. My apologies. Hi, Melissa.
Hey.
You know I'm on the air. Ladies and gentlemen, James Parker of Pugs and Parker. What are you doing blowing up my phone? What are you doing interrupting the show?
Well, Lisa Marie sent me a link. And she wants to be on tonight to talk about that story, and so I was passing it along to you.
Oh, you sent me a story? I didn't see that link. Okay. All right, very good. All right, so the lovely and talented Lisa Marie will be joining us tonight on Pillow Talk. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Very good. All right, proceed with your day. I'm sorry to have interrupted it.
Same here.
Okay, there you go. Same here. James Parker, ladies and gentlemen, half of the Pugs and Parker Pillow Talk show that comes on at 9 o'clock. All right, where was I? Baseball strike. Yeah, financial crisis. All right. Let's get into some birthdays, celebrate some birthdays. Not a whole lot of great birthdays here today. As a matter of fact, it was a stretch. Larry Brown, basketball coach, Detroit Pistons. Who else did Larry Brown coach? Golden State Warriors, right? Wasn't he all over? Larry Brown, good basketball coach, born on this day in 1940. Born on this day in 1947, Sam Neill. Oh, do I love Sam Neill. Northern Irish, New Zealand actor and director. Peaky Blinders, I mean, most recently, that's where I've really come to enjoy the work of Sam Neill. First time I ever saw Sam Neill was he played the grown-up Damien Thorne. Remember Damien Thorne from the Omen movies? Remember the Omen movies in the 1970s? I think it was Omen 3 or maybe Final Conflict. Is that what it was called? Where Damien had grown up and become president of the United States. Yeah, and Sam Neill played him. The first time I ever saw Sam Neill. Big fan of the Omen. Big fan of the Omen movies. Love them all. Don't even mind the remakes. I mean, obviously the originals are better, but I don't mind the remake. It wasn't bad from a couple years ago. Maybe 10 at this point, but they remade the Omen. It was okay. It was fine. Steve Gaines, born on this day, or died on this day. No, born. I'm doing birthday. Steve Gaines, born on this day in 1949. One of the guys, Steve Gaines, Leonard Skinner, one of the guys who died in the plane crash. So that was that's pretty tragic. My whole thing on Leonard Skinner, I have been for the past decade or so trying to make amends with my relationship with Leonard Skinner, because growing up I always just hated Leonard Skinner. Didn't really know anything. Knew Freebird. That was like it, right? That Freebird. Didn't really give him a credit, kind of just put him in a category of like dirtbag, stupid rockers that no one can explain how they got famous, right? That's because I was a dumb kid. I was a dumb kid who was not really into classic rock. I was a dumb kid who was into like punk and, whatever the new stuff was. So to me, Leonard Skinner was a garbage, trash band. They did no time for Leonard Skinner. Then I grew up and I started to become a bit more sophisticated and a little bit more open-minded with my taste. I'm a massive Leonard Skinner fan now. They were an amazing band. Like, I get it now. Like, I get how incredible they were as musicians, as an outfit, as a band, how they played. And then individually as dudes. I mean, I have over the past couple of years seen a number of biographies, documentaries, stories on Leonard Skinner. I love them. I love these guys. I love these Florida Panhandle trailer trash guys. They are awesome, smart, thoughtful, talented. They may have been from a place where, there's some sketchy people, but they were the outsiders. They were like the artists and the creatives. So just because they were, raised in an area that you look down upon doesn't mean that you need to marginalize anything that comes out of there, because talent is talent and it grows wherever the soil is fertile. Leonard Skinner, I apologize for my years of not liking you. You guys are really, really good. Let's see here. What else do we have? Fred Sonic Smith. Fred Sonic Smith was born on this day in 1949. He died in 1994. MC5, kick out the jams. Fred Sonic Smith famously married Patti Smith. Or is it Smythe? Wait, hold on. Wait a second. Hold on. Let me see something here. All right, Fred Sonic Smith, guitar player for the MC5. He was married to Patti Smith. But was Patti Smith Smith, or was Patti Smith born? Yeah. All right. So Patti Smith was born with the last name Smith, and she married a guy named Smith, Fred Sonic Smith. They were married for a while. They got a bunch of kids together. I hate Chrissy Hine. Oh, wait. No. That's not, why did I get Chrissy Hine? I get Chrissy Hine and Patti Smith confused. I don't hate Patti Smith. I don't know from Patti Smith. Whatever. Didn't she do Because the Night? Didn't she have a hit with Springsteen's Because the Night? I'm not sure. Anyway, Fred Sonic Smith, born on this day in 1949. Faith Ford, born on this day in 1964. She was the hot blonde girl from Murphy Brown. She never really did anything else. Kimberly Williams Paisley. That's right. She's a Paisley. I didn't know this. Married to Brad Paisley. Kimberly Williams, born on this day in 1971. Now, why do you know Kimberly Williams? Well, she did like one movie, right? Maybe two. Wasn't there a sequel? Father of the Bride. She was the bride. Oh, was she a delight? Oh, was she a lovely? Oh, she was just like Hollywood went out and they said, we need to find us an unknown actress to play everybody in America's daughter who's getting married. We need the perfect girl next door to marry off to be Steve Martin's daughter in this way. And it was her. They cast her. She never did anything else, really. She married Brad Paisley. I guess that's something. But, it's not like she became a big movie star. I'd have bet different. I would have bet different. I would have thought in whenever Father of the Bride came out, I would have bet that she's going to be a big star. This is like some Grace Kelly action. She's about to become a major star. And it didn't happen for her. Andrew Lincoln, born on this day in 1973. Rick Grimes, Sheriff Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead. Andrew Lincoln, pretty cool. Amy Winehouse. Why did I call it White House? Amy Winehouse. Born on this day in 1983, died in 2011. Wow, she died. I didn't realize she died that long ago. I love Amy Winehouse. My God, have you ever seen the documentary Amy? Gut-wrenching. It is gut-wrenching because it's like this film crew just made this documentary, and it's like before they started shooting, they went, she's going to die real soon. Let's get everything on tape. And that's basically what the Amy Winehouse documentary is. What a set. What an amazingly talented, unbelievably gifted singer, creative, performer, massive junkie, massive, just she had problems with everything. Her name was Winehouse, right? W-I-N-E. It's like, important too. Important in music. There was when she came on the scene, when she broke out, I guess Rehab, right? That's probably her first, that's what broke her through. By the way, wasn't that song funny when it first came out? Rehab. It was so funny. It was like, look, she's singing. She won't go to rehab because she's a party girl. And all the party girls were like, this is our anthem. Oh, dancing all night. It was like such a cute song. And then when she died, because she didn't go to rehab, everybody went, oh, huh. Kind of hear that song differently now, don't we? Kind of hear the song Rehab by Amy Winehouse a little bit differently now that we know how it all ended up. Too bad. Jimmy Butler, born on this day, basketball player, problem child. Miami Heat, is he still in the Heat or did he get bounced out of that? I don't even know. Jimmy Butler, hell of a ball player. Another problem child, born on this day, 1995, Deshaun Watson. Controversial quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. Well-known alleged rapist. I don't know. All I'm saying is Deshaun better win some Super Bowls and some MVPs, or I swear to God, the first line in his obituary is going to be alleged rapist. Or hell, by that time it might be confirmed. Yeah, that's James Parker. He's blowing up my phone. I don't know why he's blowing up my phone. All right. Parker. It's becoming irritating. Oh, okay. All right, we got it now. Please stop including me in your group texts. We'll get caught up after the show. Love to both of you. Not really angry, just irritated. I spend about 80% of my time irritated, so. What else do we have? All right, let's do some deaths. On this day in 1638, a guy named John Harvard died. You know what he did? Well, he died and he had a plot of land and he said, when I die, I want you to make a college here. Harvard, there you go. On this day, John Harvard died. On this day in 1836, Aaron Burr. That's right, Aaron Burr died. Oh, wait, I jumped ahead. I'm sorry, I missed 1715. On this day in 1715, Dom Perignon, French monk and priest. Yeah, Champagne guy. He died on this day in 1715. 1836, Aaron Burr, American colonel and politician, died on this day. 1901, we covered this. William McKinley, President of the United States, died on this day. 1936, Irving Thalberg, American screenwriter and producer. Irving Thalberg died on this day in 1936. This is amazing because you know the name, the Irving Thalberg Award at the Oscars. They give it out to whoever the greatest person alive in Hollywood is for that year. They give it out to him. It's named after Irving Thalberg. Irving Thalberg died in 1936 on this day. He was only 37 years old. Think about that. That's what I say, back then, back in 1920 in Hollywood, wasn't a lot of competition to be great. You know what I mean? There was only 5 people making movies. And if you were the best, not to take anything away from Irving Thalberg, but this guy he died at 37. This guy accomplished more in Hollywood so that we're almost 100 years later. We still have an award. Irving Thalberg. Let's see. Dead on this day. Here's a big one. This big one, dead on this day. Grace Kelly. I just mentioned Grace Kelly. Look at that. Look at that. Dead on this day. Grace Kelly. American Monegasque actress. Because of Monaco, right? Because she became the Queen of Monaco, Princess of Monaco or whatever. Grace Kelly, American actress, grew up in America, became a big movie star. Some prince in Europe went, she's hot, I want to marry her. And he did, made her a princess, and she became Princess Grace. It's a life. It's a life lived. Dead on this day in 1986, the single most important, prominent, and effective person in the history of Dallas-Fort Worth radio. And one of the biggest names in radio nationally, certainly important for the way things turned out in the years of the 70s and the 80s and how radio changed. Now, Gordon McClendon. Gordon McClendon started a little radio station in his garage in his house in Oak Cliff. Excuse me. And that's KLIF. And that's where it all started. Cliff, KLIF radio. Started in a garage in his home in Oak Cliff. And then went on to, be Liberty Broadcasting System, which was a huge, major. Who else died on this day? We got another one. A couple of big ones. Okay, we'll wrap it up with a couple of big ones. Hold on. That was a loud sneeze, so I had to mute myself because you people didn't need to hear that. I'm sneezing. Let's see here. Okay, here's a big one. Patrick Swayze died on this day in 2009. Swayze! Who doesn't like Swayze, right? Should we do it? Patrick Swayze draft! Oh, yeah, we're going to do a Patrick Swayze draft on the anniversary of his death. He died on this day in 2009 after a long struggle with cancer. Patrick Swayze, the first pick in the Pugs and Company High Noon Patrick Swayze draft. Could there be another one? Pain Don't Hurt. Roadhouse. That's right. Roadhouse. One of my favorite movies of all time. They're remaking Roadhouse, right? They're remaking Roadhouse. I don't know who's starring in it, but I know Conor McGregor is in it. So that's a thing. With the second pick in the Patrick Swayze draft, we select Point Break. Point Break. With the third pick in the Swayze draft, one of my favorite guilty pleasure movies of all time. I love this movie. Next of Kin. Next of Kin is about a bunch of hillbillies who move to the big city and just take over. They defeat the mob. It's so much fun. It's Next of Kin. If you haven't seen Patrick Swayze's Next of Kin, you must. But just go into it knowing this movie's going to be fun. There's going to be stupid shit. Don't overanalyze it. Just go with it. Fourth pick in the Patrick Swayze draft. I'm going with one that a lot of people might have put at number 1, but I'm going with it at number 4. The Outsiders. That's right. Francis Ford Coppola's The Outsiders. He was so good in The Outsiders as the who was he? He's the big brother, but what was his name? I don't remember. And the fifth pick in the Patrick Swayze draft. That's right. I know there's a bunch of big ones. One of the big ones isn't going to get picked. One of the big ones ain't getting drafted. You people already know. You've got the 2 in your head, and I ain't said either one of them yet. I only got one more pick. So what am I going with for the 5th pick in the Patrick Swayze draft? Pick 1 was Roadhouse. Pick 2 was Point Break. Pick 3 was Next of Kin. Pick 4 was The Outsiders. Pick 5 is it going to be Ghost or Dirty Dancing? Pick 5 is Youngblood. Youngblood, the hockey movie with Rob Lowe. That's right. I didn't pick Ghost or Dirty Dancing in the draft. I don't care. give a shit about either of those movies. I didn't like either of those movies, but we are inviting some undrafted free agents into camp to see if they can make the team. And yes, Ghost is being invited as an undrafted free agent. Dirty Dancing as an undrafted free agent. Black Dog, the trucker movie, as an undrafted free agent. Uncommon Valor. One of my favorite war movies for a long stretch of my life. I loved Uncommon Valor. And then, Platoon came out and Full Metal Jacket and For Saving Private Ryan. So it got bumped down the list a little bit, but it's still up there. It's still up there with Bridge on the River Kwai and The Dirty Dozen. Uncommon Valor gets an undrafted free. Steel Dawn gets an undrafted free agent. Tiger Warsaw gets an undrafted free agent. And finally, he did a really nice, really dramatic film. What was this like? That's the mid-90s. City of Joy. I don't know if you've ever seen City of Joy, but that also gets an undrafted because that's a movie where you look at it and you go, Patrick Swayze had some chops. Like if Patrick Swayze didn't want to be the guy with the ripped abs and, the poster boy and the sex symbol, he maybe could have been an actor. He maybe could have been like a legit, good actor. And we saw flashes of that in City of Joy. As it is, Patrick Swayze just has to deal with being one of the biggest movie stars of the past 50 years. Dead on this day, finally, on this day, 1 year ago. It's been 1 year ago. 1 year since Norm Macdonald passed. Norm Macdonald passed away 1 year ago today. The great Norm Macdonald. We love Norm Macdonald. All right, let's get into the trends. Let's talk about all the things that are happening, the headlines, the hot topics, things people are talking about on this day, the 14th of September, 2022. Earthquake. Yeah, there was an earthquake. Apparently, a couple of earthquakes hit, two of them in California. The second one just a few hours ago. They're both in the 4 magnitude range, so, nobody's really freaking out about anything. But, man, good Lord, I jokingly said the other day, what's next for California? Earthquakes? Well, here they come. California's got fires. California's got record-setting heat. California had a monsoon for the first time in 100 years last weekend. And now they're having earthquakes. California. Woo! Something is going on. 2 earthquakes with magnitude greater than 4.0 shake Santa Rosa region. So that's like Northern California, Santa Rosa, I'm guessing. Let me see. Yeah, northern. So inland. I guess I don't know where Santa Rosa is. I'm looking at it on a map. So there you have it. The Dow is trending. Yesterday, the Dow took an ass kicking, down 1,000 points. It was the lowest day of trading, or the biggest loss in trading since June of 2022. Let's see where it's at today. Let's check it out. Let's see where we're at. Let's see if we rebounded. Did we rebound? A little bit. Okay, we're up a little bit today. We're at plus 68. All right, so the Dow is up 68.21. 68.21. All right, so we were down 1,000 yesterday, so still quite a bit to make up. But Dow watchers are watching that closely. All right, so the only story, if you've gotten cable news, the only story that's being covered today is the Queen. The Queen is being marched through London. I don't know if you've had any of your cable news channels on. I had it on Sky, so obviously Sky News is covering this heavy. But then I switched over to CNN just to see if the Americans were doing the same thing. And they were. And I don't understand this. This isn't news. This is not news. It's a spectacle. Maybe you record it and you show it in prime time as a show when there isn't other news, but we're in the middle of the day here. There is news occurring. There is stuff. If the Queen hadn't died, what would you be talking about today, CNN, and acting like it's the most important news story ever? Because that's what you do. Okay, so if the Queen didn't die, what would you be using to gin us all up today? Because right now we're just watching an old lady be dragged through the streets. Okay, it's a bit more elegant than that, but you know what my point is. King Charles is trending. King Charles is trending because of his inheritance. Isn't this interesting? How wealthy is King Charles? You think about that? I mean, we think the royal family, they're like the richest people. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're rich. They're ridiculously wealthy. The royal family, as a unit, as a thing, the royal family has a worth estimated to be above $25 billion. $25 billion. It's a lot of money. Isn't Elon Musk at like $200 billion? Isn't Jeff Bezos like well over $100 billion? So in that whole thing, they're billionaires, but they ain't like Putin. When Putin like $500 billion, they say they estimate Putin could probably the richest guy in the world, but he just doesn't tell anybody how much money he's got. So individual wealth, though, this is interesting. So this story is about King Charles and how over the past 30 years, he has individually grown his personal wealth as a member of the royal family in ways that just dwarf everybody else. Prince Charles alone is estimated to be worth about $3.5 billion. Prince Charles, $3.5 billion due to investments and deals and all that kind of thing. He is by far the wealthiest of the royals, and it should be that way because he's now the king. Right? But $3.5 billion. So that's like a little bit more than Mark Cuban. So the King of England has a little bit more money than Mark Cuban. And when I say a little bit, I mean like 1.5 billion more, which, isn't a little, but for the sake of this conversation, it is. The Queen, how much was the Queen worth? Do you know how much the Queen was worth upon her death? Well, here's a question for you in the chat room. Here's a question. Okay, so we know that Prince Charles has about 25 billion, right? Yeah, 25 billion. And we know that's more than the rest of the royal family. So in the chat room, what's the Queen worth? What was the Queen worth at her death? I'll give you 10 seconds. I don't want anybody looking this up because I was kind of shocked by this. Asking the chat room your guesses on what the Queen is worth. The Queen of England, son, King Charles now, is worth 25 billion, but he did some stuff on his own. He did some smart stuff. So what is the Queen of England worth? Any guesses in the chat room? All right, never mind. It's taking too long. She's only worth 800 million. Queen ain't a billionaire. Didn't you think the Queen was a billionaire? 32 billion. Dustin, are you only half listening? Dustin, I said Prince Charles is worth 25 billion, and he's by far the wealthiest. April was close. 500 million, 3.2 billion, says Dustin. No, only like 800 million. 895 million is what they're reporting the Queen was worth at her death. Oh, and also, here's some bullshit. So everyone in England has to pay a 40% inheritance tax. If you are wealthy and you die and you want to leave your family the money, you have to pay 40% of what you leave in England to the crown, to the state. 40%. So your family only inherits 60%, and then the royal family gets the other 40%. That's some nonsense, especially when you learn now that Prince Charles, who was already worth 25 billion, is about to inherit a good deal of his mom's assets and his mom's worth. He didn't have to pay a dime. The royal family is exempt from taxes in inheritance. Specifically, this law. Again, these British people and their mass delusion, their thought that these are magic people. I don't understand it. Here's fun. This is fun. Maybe we can watch this. So this happened earlier. King Charles, that's right. Got to get used to calling him King Charles. King Charles had a signing ceremony. I'm not even sure what it was. He had to sign some documents, and so it was a big official affair with the fancy pens and all that. And let me see if I can pull this up for us. What? What happened to the... I had this. We won't waste too much time on this nonsense. Really? Hold on. Oh my God, they deleted the video. Why did this video get deleted? Oh my God. Okay, well, I'm going to have to... It was a funny video, but I have no idea why they would have deleted it. Google says King Charles' current estimated net worth, April says, is $440 million. Yeah, I'm going with what the official royal accountants on Sky News today said. I'm sure Google has some updating to do. But yeah. You saw the video. So April says she saw the video. It's been deleted from the line that I was... hold on. Let me see if I can find it somewhere else, because it is a funny video I wanted to show. King Charles was doing a signing. He was doing a signing ceremony, and the pen exploded on him. like we've all had the pen explode where we get it on our hands. And then Camilla, who is now the queen consort, the wife of Charles, Camilla has to get involved. And then Camilla sits down to sign, and Charles is seen in the background like he's milling about, complaining and wiping his hand because he's got ink. It was just very funny. It was a funny video. If we find it, we'll show you. Otherwise, oh, wait a second. Oh, here. I think I just found it. Of course. Okay, we'll get rid of that one. Is this it? I was able to find it. So hopefully this is still up. Boy, the internet is just taking forever to. It takes every day. I don't. Oh. Okay, here you go. Here's the video. Let's hope it works. We've been. All right. He didn't know the date.
13.
Okay, he's got ink on his hand. The king doesn't know what to do. No, just watch Charles in the background. This bloody thing. Boy. You don't want to give the king bad news. Look at him. Look at him. He's really taking this hard. I like that. You're the king. Everything don't always work out for the king. Now he's walking around with ink on his hands. All right. Speaking of queens, Dairy Queen is trending. I don't know if y'all saw this today. This is a crazy story. This comes out of, is it Pittsburgh? I think it is. Yeah, it's Pittsburgh. Some dude in Pittsburgh, crazy man who likes guns. You know, that's a problem we got to get to the bottom of here in this. Oh, for the love of goodness. Hold on. I do apologize, but I'm having some issues here. We're good. Al, there's an announcement. Just relax, though. Just there is an announcement, and it's just not official. That's all. So, okay, so let's go to Pittsburgh. A Westmoreland County man is facing several charges after police said he wanted to. Okay, now here we go. I don't like to do divisive politics, but he says he wants to kill Democrats. Okay, there you go. Jan Stawovi, S-T-A-W, Staw, O-V-Y, S-T-A-W-O-V-Y. Jan Stawovi, 61, took a loaded gun into a Dairy Queen, and police said the quick action of an officer saved lives. It was Saturday when Delmont police said Stelroy walked into a Dairy Queen on State Route 66 in a yellow safety vest and rainbow clown wig. Multiple people were inside the Dairy Queen at the time, and police say a group of people, including several with intellectual disabilities, were heading into the restaurant. Officer Stoll, who was there, found Stowaway and took him into custody. Police found a loaded .40 caliber handgun and ammo on him. Stowaway allegedly told police he was undercover and he was working to restore Trump to President King of the United States, he told police. He was armed to, quote, kill all Democrats and liberals and to protect himself from drug traffickers who were after him. Investigators got a search warrant and found 2 more guns in his car along with 62 rounds of ammo. In looking at Stowaway's Facebook page, he has a history of outbursts and threats. In the past 2 years, Stowaway has been asked to leave 2 different churches. 2 churches have kicked this guy out. The New Stanton Assembly of God asked him to leave their congregation in August and not come back to their property. Their letter to him recommended that he get professional help. Their pastor told KDKA's Chris Hoffman that they had not had contact with Stowaway since he was asked to leave the church and that they are praying for him. Okay, so he goes to one church. He shows up dressed like a clown. Oh, no, wait, was that this one? I don't know, whatever. He made people feel weird, so they were like, you can't be here. You're weird. Then, just this past Friday, he got a letter from the Barron Run United Methodist Church. Their letter says he showed up to their services in a clown costume and scared the congregants. They, too, recommended that he get some professional help. Stauove called both of these letters love letters. I don't know what the hell that means. He also had a photo showing his support for the former president. He had a post saying, Civil War is coming in 2024. Okay, so this is just another example of he's obviously a crazy person. So thankfully, there was a cop there who saw him and went, this don't look right, and took him down. Thankfully. China Moon is a story. China has discovered a new element on the moon, and they're saying that it could be the key to fusion or whatever. I don't know. Fusion, fission. I don't know all this stuff. I just know that, unlimited energy sources is the thing that we're all looking for, right? China discovers stunning crystals on the moon. Nuclear fusion fuel for limitless energy, a possibility. What the hell kind of headline is that? Moving a little bit too quickly, huh? Let's see. So China becomes the third country now to have found new elements and new minerals on the moon, joining the United States of America and Russia. However, China, because it's, the United States and Russia hadn't pulled any rocks back from the moon since the 1970s. China's up there now. They've got new technology. They're doing things differently, and they found some new. The crystal is part of a batch of lunar samples collected by China's Chang'e 5. It loaded up about 4 pounds, landed on the moon, loaded up about 4 pounds of rocks and delivered them to Earth. After carefully sifting through the samples, which are the first moon rocks returned to Earth since 1976, scientists at the Beijing Research Institute of Uranium Geology spotted a single crystal particle with a diameter smaller than the width of human hair. Now, I know this is sort of like crazy. It sounds like science fiction, right? But these are the kinds of little stories that maybe we don't even read. Maybe we're just scrolling, and we see the headline, China finds this new mineral, and we scroll. We ignore it. And then, these are the kinds of things that these are the things that have remarkably changed the way that we live, the way we see the world, the way we experience the world. This could be a thing. There's another story that we're all just ignoring that's happening today. Scientists have been able to determine, something about, scientists today discovered why cancer seeks proteins, which I didn't even know was a thing. I'm just pulling this up. Anyway, it's a major step in understanding how cancer takes over our bodies and can certainly lead to us, I don't know, maybe having an even better early warning system when we're trying to detect people with cancer and then be able to attack it more effectively because now we understand how it grows and why it grows. That's a major story. And CNN's got the queen. CNN, they're dragging an old lady through the streets of London, so CNN's going to do that for 12 hours. We don't get real news. We're not real. We're being ginned up to our base angers and bitternesses. That's what we're being fed. We're not actually being informed about what's happening in the world. There are big things happening. This Chinese mineral could be one of them. I don't know. Maybe it's not, but they found something. Okay, so let's not just dismiss it. It's another planet. It's something we've never had down here. If they say they found something truly unique and they think there's great potential for it, we need to go, that's interesting. Brett Favre is trending. I love it when Brett Favre trends because Brett Favre doesn't trend for being a good guy. He doesn't. Brett Favre trends for being the asshole that he is. Brett Favre is one of the worst human beings that's ever walked this earth. Is he a good football player? Yeah, he's a good quarterback. Absolutely. Reckless, worked out well for him, But hey, Brett Favre is trending because he's now in some deep doo-doo. If you've been following the story about him down there in Mississippi, his hometown, Brett Favre is like the Duke of Mississippi. He's like the guy down there, right? Brett Favre has been under investigation because he finagled some deal where his daughter was attending Mississippi State University, Is that where he went? I think that's where he went. His daughter was attending Mississippi State University. She's on the volleyball team. And Brett Favre wanted them to have better volleyball facilities. So Brett Favre started this group to try and, build his daughter better facilities. Brett Favre, worth $100 million maybe? I don't know. He's not that smart. So he's probably blown a lot of his money. But so Brett Favre basically did this scam down there in Mississippi. And now they're bringing down the entire government. This story is trending because now Brett Favre basically convinced the people in Mississippi to take $5 million out of their welfare fund for poor people and hungry people and give it to him so that he could build his daughter a volleyball stadium at the Mississippi, whatever, Jackson State. I don't even know what it is, Mississippi State? So anyway, that's the big deal, that the former governor, text messages have been released between Brett Favre and the former governor. Basically, yeah, don't worry about it, man. We'll take care of it. Screw them poor people. Your daughter should play on a nice modern court. And now, and this is interesting, Jeff Pearlman, who is an author, journalist, Jeff Pearlman wrote a book about Brett Favre a number of years ago, which was known as the definitive biography of Brett Favre. Jeff Pearlman is now saying, don't buy my book. Don't buy my book. My book was total bullshit. It was a puff piece. It was designed to glorify him, but I can tell you about the real Brett Favre, and he's a piece of shit. That's the guy who wrote the book, the biography of Brett Favre. Author Jeff Pearlman, who wrote biography of Favre in 2016, called the former NFL MVP a, quote, bad guy, undeserving of the icon treatment. Author Jeff Pearlman is warning readers not to buy his largely glowing biography of Hall of Fame quarterback Brett Favre after text messages uncovered earlier this week, like yesterday, revealed that Favre and former Mississippi Governor Phil Bryant diverted welfare funds to build a new volleyball stadium at the University of Southern Mississippi. Pearlman's book, Gunslinger, The Remarkable, Improbable, Iconic Life of Brett Favre, was published in 2016. Pearlman said Tuesday that the biography was fairly positive, despite the fact that he included anecdotes about Favre's grossness, addiction, and awful treatment of women. Looking at it now, if I'm being brutally honest, this is Pearlman speaking, I'd advise people not to read it. He's a bad guy. He doesn't deserve the icon treatment. He doesn't deserve acclaim, image rehabilitation, warm stories of grid glory. He deserves none of it. Let's see here. And looking at it now, Pearlman goes on to say, if I'm being brutally honest, I'd advise people not to read it. He's a bad guy. He doesn't deserve the icon. Okay, so that's the exact same quote. Pearlman continued to call Favre's manipulation of welfare funds so grotesque, so monstrous, I don't know how someone like that looks in the mirror. Favre, 52, played football at Southern Miss from 87 to 90 and is arguably the school's most notable alumnus. Other than Bryant, who served as governor of Mississippi from 2012 to 2020, Favre's daughter, Breely, played volleyball for the Golden Eagles 2018 to 2022. So she's not even there anymore. Text messages between Favre and Governor Bryant's staff, which were filed Monday in the state of Mississippi's civil lawsuit over misspent welfare funds, were from 2017 and 2019 and show that about $5 million was illegally funneled to build the new volleyball center on campus. Most notable amongst the collection of texts are those filed by an attorney representing Nancy New, founder of the Mississippi Community Education Center. New's center was tasked with helping the state of Mississippi by spending tens of millions in federal welfare funds. Instead, the money was diverted in a scheme that state auditors claim misspent $77 million, the largest case of public fraud in Mississippi history. So this is a very big story about a whole bunch of other things, and Brett Favre has been caught in the net. $77 million that was intended to go, federal funds, to the state of Mississippi to take care of the poor people that they can't take care of. That money was stolen. $77 million was stolen by the people in power in Mississippi, and we don't know where it all went, but we know where $5 million of it went. $5 million of it went to Brett Favre and his stupid daughter's volleyball team. So that's why Brett Favre. Now, okay, full disclosure, I'm a Chicago Bear fan, and I hate the Green Bay Packers, and I hate Brett Favre. But you know what? No, this is different than that, because I don't have these feelings about Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers makes me roll my eyes. Aaron Rodgers is probably the most deadly quarterback that I've ever seen in the NFL. Yeah. You face Aaron Rodgers 2 times a season his entire career, and you tell me any different. I know there's some Buffalo Bill fans out there who might go, let me tell you about Tom Brady about 2009. I get that, but no, Aaron Rodgers is a monster. One game, Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady, I'm taking Aaron Rodgers all day long. So my hatred for Brett Favre, I also hate Aaron Rodgers, but at least I can recognize, and I don't have this like I don't think Aaron Rodgers is a bad guy. I mean, look, I think he's probably a dick and a douche, but is he a bad guy? Is he an evil? I don't think he's an evil guy. Brett Favre, I think, is an evil guy. Brett Favre's family is total trash. Look into Brett Favre's family. It's like all of his brothers and his dad have all been in prison. They're just terrible people. They're just not good people. And yet Brett Favre is a glory boy. I mentioned him earlier because I saw that Chris Mad Dog Russo is trending. Chris Mad Dog Russo. Now, famously in the world of sports radio, Mike and the Mad Dog were one of the cornerstone national sports radio shows. They originated from WFAN in New York. They were great. I mean, I'm not even a New York sports fan, but I can admit that Mike Francesa and Chris Russo together as Mike and the Mad Dog was a good sports show. It was. I mean, there was a lot to make fun of there, but it was a good show. Chris Russo and Mike Francesa, they've broken up a long time ago. Chris Russo is now with Stephen A. Smith, right? And that who he's arguing with? So Chris Mad Dog Russo is trending because he's apparently a racist. Why is he a racist? Chris Russo is a racist because this morning he got into a debate with Stephen A. Smith about Kirk Cousins versus Lamar Jackson. And Chris Mad Dog Russo believes that Kirk Cousins is a better quarterback who can do more than Lamar Jackson. And it basically came down to you got one game, biggest game of the season, and you can either start Kirk Cousins or Lamar Jackson. And Chris Russo said Kirk Cousins. This caused Stephen A. Smith to the Stephen A. Smith thing. And he gets up and he walks around and it's a whole big thing. But now, apparently, even though Chris Russo spent about 30 seconds explaining exactly why he would choose Kirk Cousins over Lamar Jackson, he's a racist. Even though, like I said, he spent a lot of time explaining why Kirk Cousins, in his opinion, was a more effective quarterback for a big game, all of that was forgotten, and it's just because he doesn't like Lamar Jackson because he's black. Can we stop with this bullshit? And you know what? Here's the other thing. I was looking at the Chris Russo thread on Twitter, and I'm looking at all these people going, he's a racist. This is obviously a racist. Only a racist would think Kirk Cousins is better than Lamar Jackson. All of these like claims of Chris Russo as a racist, not all of them, but way more than should be. It's all a bunch of like white college kids. It's all a bunch of like white girls, like 23-year-old who don't even know who he is, calling him a racist. And then like dudes with like rainbow images, it's just, come on, stop it. You know what? I can't stand the right. I can't stand the right in all of their, King Trump and all of that bullshit. I can't stand you left any better with your Chris Russo is a racist because he wants Kirk Cousins over Lamar. He might just be stupid, okay? Now, I happen to agree with Stephen A. Smith. Big game, one quarterback, you can start Kirk Cousins or Lamar Jackson. I'm going Lamar Jackson 10 out of 10 times. But that's just because of what I understand about football. It doesn't make me a racist if I were to go, you know what, Kirk Cousins has a hell of an offense that he's been working with these past 2 years. I mean, Kirk Cousins was hinky for about the first 5 or 6 games of last season. And then Justin Jefferson became a star. And then, Dalvin Cook became a star. And he's got Adam Thielen to throw to. Kirk Cousins has been having some really good games with the Minnesota Vikings. I don't know. I'd say over the course of the last 12 to 13 games. So Kirk Cousins is not just, you don't just dismiss it. You got to look at what he's been doing and go, he throws a nice ball. He does seem to have some skills. Maybe he's just been on bad team. Who knows? But you're not a racist because you look at all those things and think Kirk Cousins might be better than Lamar Jackson. You're not a racist. I mean, he might be a racist. He might be a racist for a whole, but this particular instance does not warrant dragging this man across, Twitter for the past 10 hours or however long it's been on. All right, let's see what Adam's going to say. Yeah, but nowhere near Lamar Jackson. It's a bad opinion for sure. Yeah, of course it's a bad opinion, but we're talking about Chris Russo and Stephen A. Smith. These guys are... they are foremen down at the bad opinion plant. I mean, these guys have nothing. These hot takes are designed to be bad so that people like me, this is by design. That's all I'm saying. It's by design. All right. So Chris Russo isn't racist, but let me ask you, is the mainstream American media racist? Because that's the question that comes up next, because something happened yesterday that I was pretty dialed into before the Pillow Talk show. And I was following it pretty closely. I was first alerted to it by my little police scanner. My little police scanner went off, so then I jumped online, and then I started following some people on Facebook. Yeah, if you saw me lurking around Facebook last night, it's because of this story, because there's some good people covering it live on Facebook. Washington Park in Chicago, one of my favorite areas of Chicago. Washington Park, Jackson Park, connected by the Midway Plaisance there at University of Chicago. It's got the lakefront. It's got the museum, the Museum of Science and Industry, University of Chicago. You got Obama's house. I mean, this is Obama's neighborhood. Washington Park had a mass shooting last night. There were upwards of 16 people shot. How many died? Let me get you the number of people who died. Big shooting. Kids, bunch of kids playing in a park, just just mowed down. Hold on a second. Really? Oh my God. I'm sorry. The internet is just not working with me today, folks. I do apologize. This is my bad. Okay, so here's the story. This was 10 shot, 3 fatally at Chicago's Washington Park after personal altercation. So this broke out. At least 9 people were shot, 2 of them fatally Tuesday in Chicago's Washington Park. Officers responded. Hold on. Officers responded to reports of multiple shots fired about 7:40 p.m. Tuesday evening. The Chicago Police Department said in a statement, investigators determined the shooting was the result of some type of personal altercation between 2 groups. No one was in custody following the shooting as of Wednesday morning, the Chicago Police Department said. So we've still got an active shooting, right? So we've got an active shooter out there. Don't we need to shut down that entire part of Chicago? Don't people need to go home from work or at least stay in work? Shouldn't everybody in the Washington Park, Jackson Park, Hyde Park, Kenwood area of Chicago, aren't they all supposed to be sheltering in place here? We've got someone who pulled up to a park and a shootout started. What? My point is this. If this hadn't happened in Jackson Park, and I'm guessing that these are a lot of minority kids, if this had happened out in the suburbs, at a park in the suburbs, I'm telling you, we'd be heading towards a week of national mourning. We'd be heading towards a week of showing the pictures of these kids, these beautiful little suburban faces that were, playing at the park and they're dead. CNN, Anderson Cooper would be in this suburban town right now broadcasting live. Another tragic day in America as a bunch of suburban kids were killed. This happens in a city and it's completely ignored. So I ask you the question, why? I'll tell you why. It's because of the color of the skin. It really is. It's not. Now don't. Come on. I know some of you out there are like, oh, you're being racist. No, look, let's get the paper out. Let's work this flow chart, okay? So let's take CNN, for example, since I like to use them as sort of the, so why didn't CNN cover the mass shooting that happened in the middle of Anderson Cooper's show last night? When, again, if this had been a Walmart outside of Toledo, they would have scrubbed all programming to cover it live. They'd have brought in all of the experts and all of the police, guys that they'd talk to, and they'd clutch their pearls, and we'd talk about, gun violence. No, none of that. Not even a mention. Not even a mention. Now, why? Because let's take CNN. What is the purpose of CNN? Well, the purpose of CNN is to inform us as to all of the important... Shut up. Shut up, you dummy. The purpose of CNN is to make money. That is the purpose of CNN. Stop acting like this is some benevolent gesture on the part of the rich people who control CNN, that they just want us all to be informed. No, they don't. They want to make money. And they've decided that some people like to pretend they're informed, so they'll watch this shit. Now we got to give them stuff that are going to keep them glued. So let's look at who we want. So CNN looks at who they want. This is an exercise we used to do in radio when we would talk about demographics. You would say, okay, so you're doing your radio show. This radio station is looking for men between the ages of 25 and 54. Specifically for your show, we're looking to concentrate on men 18 to 34. So what we would do, and this is like a long saying, you would go through a magazine or whatever, you'd find a picture of somebody who embodies exactly the person that you are supposed to be trying to attract with your show. And you put that picture up all around the studio. And you look at it. So when you start talking about something, you look at that and you have to ask yourself, is this person going to be interested in it? CNN has a specific demo that they want. And it's men. It is, I'm not even going to say it's white men, but it is men and women of a certain age, older, who live in the suburbs. That's who they want. They want people who, I don't know, maybe it's time for them to buy a new car. They want people who, they're thinking about what their vacation is. Can they buy airline tickets to Walt Disney World? They're talking to people with money who can buy the shit that runs between news stories, the commercials. That's who they're targeting. So when something like, I don't know, let's say there's a park in a nice little suburb somewhere outside of Santa Monica, I don't know, California, let's do Texas. Let's say this happened in South Lake at a park. CNN at that point asks themselves, do we cover this story? And then they say, okay, if we cover this story, who's going to be interested in it? Who's going to be not interested? Who's going to be affected by it? Who is going to see this story and they're going to sit there and they're going to hang with us through the commercial breaks and they'll come back because this story has impacted them. Well, when it happens in the suburbs, when it happens, your target demo is affected. Your target demo goes, oh my God, that could happen to me. But when it happens in the inner city to a bunch of poor people, to a bunch of people who are not the target demo of CNN, CNN goes, yeah, our core audience doesn't give a shit about these kids getting slayed in their parks. They care about kids getting slayed in the parks near their houses. So let's just pretend like it didn't happen. And that's why when one person is shot at a Starbucks in Burleson, it becomes big news in a mass shooting. But when 8 people are shot out in front of a liquor store in Harlem, no one even talks about it. And it's simply because of the audience. Who does the media? Who does the CNN or whomever? Who do they want watching? And are they interested in this kind of crime? That's the metric. That's what it is. So is it racist? No, I know. I kind of buried that. I said, maybe it's not racist. It's just money grubby. That's all it is. Now, does greed and just a desire to make all the money for anyone, is that sometimes cross over into some racial thinking? Well, yeah, because that's what demographics are. Don't tell me not to be racist and then tell me to learn about demographics, because demographics are all about breaking things down according to individual, So that really pissed me off about Washington Park last night. This happens all the time. Oh, just another shooting. Just another bunch of black kids got killed. Hey, but let's talk about the Mar-a-Lago boxes. Let's do that for 3 hours. Let's just get people all ginned up about the Mar-a-Lago boxes. Stop it. Let's see here. Oh, I don't want to do that. Oh, this is a funny story. Here's another one. Okay. I love when the idiot right and the idiot left get into it with each other. So, you know how Abbott has been sending all of the illegals to New York and Chicago and Los Angeles? He's been doing that. He's been like, they're rounding up all these people at the border, and then Abbott puts them on buses and sends them to liberal damn states. Oh, God, this guy. So guess what's happening now? Chicago and New York are taking these people who are being sent to them by Abbott in Texas, putting them on buses, sending them right down to Florida. Right down to Florida. So they're going from Texas to New York and Chicago, and then they're being sent down to Florida because who was this person with the New York New York City officials claim that many of the migrants who are being bused from Texas didn't want to go to New York, and so they are helping them to get to the state they really wanted to be in, Florida. The New York City Commissioner of Immigration Affairs appeared on Fox 5 morning show Good Day on Wednesday. Commissioner Manuel Castro says that a lot of the migrants are fleeing Venezuela and are Castro says, many want to go to places like Florida, where the largest community of Venezuelans live. He says they have family and community ties in Florida. We're helping them get to their actual final destination. I love it. All right, Abbott. Hey, Governor Abbott, Governor DeSantis is on the phone. He wants you to cut the shit. That's hysterical. It's just, these are people. These are human beings just riding buses. Imagine you pay some coyote, some mule, whatever, 10 grand or I don't even know what it costs to sneak you into the country. You get popped like 50 yards into America, and now suddenly you're on a bus for 10 hours. How long is a bus ride? All right, so a bus ride from Dallas to Chicago would be about 13, 14 hours. A bus ride to New York would probably be 20, 25 maybe. Oh, God, I don't even know. Oh, so you pay the mule, you go through hell, you're here, you get 50 yards in, boom, you're immediately caught. You're put in a bus. Now you're on a bus. What do you give you? Give you a bottle of water and a gross sandwich? And then you get off the bus there, and in New York, they're like, yeah, you want to go to Florida? They're like, yeah, actually, we do want to go to Florida because it doesn't get to be winter down there, and it's going to be October in New York, so we're going to... Anyway, that's very funny. Fetal personhood. This is a new issue. I love this issue. This is a very interesting issue. So you know how fetuses are people now? You know, like a lot of people are pushing for laws that life begins at insemination and all that kind of stuff. Well, if we're going to go down that path, we have to recognize that that opens up a whole bunch of new issues that we've never really had to discuss. Like, for instance, there is a hero. There's a hero who walks among us. She is a lady here in North Texas who did something that is really challenging the idea of fetal personhood. What does she do? Well, she's a young woman and she's pregnant. And she got pulled over in the HOV lane. And she claims that since it's now a state, now that the Texas state has decided that you are a fetus as a person, she's not violating the carpool lanes when she's driving pregnant because her baby inside her, it's a person, right? Right? That's a person. All right. So that's one of the interesting issues. If the fetus is now a person, someone who consumes alcohol, here's some of the other issues. If the fetus is now a person, someone who consumes alcohol while pregnant would be guilty of child endangerment. So if you're having that one glass of wine, some crazy person could put you in handcuffs, throw you in jail for contributing to the delinquency of a minor? Very much a minor. Doesn't even have a birth date yet. All right, so there's that. There's the endangering the child with that. It says you could potentially be guilty of manslaughter or murder if you had a miscarriage and were then deemed to not be taking proper precautions. So think about that. If this is now a person, right? If life begins at insemination or fertilization or whatever you want to say it, if we are talking about the issue of fetal personhood, this changes a whole lot of things moving forward. A whole lot of stupid stuff. Could you imagine going through the pain of a miscarriage? If you've ever been imagine going through the pain of a miscarriage and then having to worry about, oh my God, did I take all the proper vitamins? Could I be going to jail on top of it? It's madness. It's absolutely ridiculous. Fetal personhood. That's why people are talking about that today. Aaron Judge is trending. Boy, oh boy, Aaron Judge looked like he's having a baseball season, huh? New York Yankee Aaron Judge. He hit his 56th and 57th home runs yesterday. Although, where was he? Were they in Boston? Because these home runs, look, I'm not taking anything away from Aaron Judge, but Aaron Judge hit like 2 375-foot home runs yesterday. Those are pop flies. Were they in Fenway? Hold on. That had to have been Fenway, right? Yeah, it was Fenway. Okay. Aaron Judge got 2 home runs, 2 more home runs to add to his total. Yankees benefit from playing the Baltimore Orioles and the Boston Red Sox regularly. Those are bandbox stadiums. Those are absolutely... Oh, wait a second. Wait, did they change Baltimore? Wait, is Baltimore now the largest or the smallest? It's the smallest, right? That's what I thought. Anyway, we're all buzzing about Aaron Judge because he's having a monster season, and he's probably going to break Roger Maris's record, American League record of 61 home runs. It's the real record. It's the 61 home runs is the most home runs ever hit in a professional baseball season, a major league baseball season. 61 home runs. Barry Bonds can go kick rocks. Barry Bonds doesn't count. None of that shit counts. I don't count any of those guys. I don't count McGuire. I don't count Bonds. I don't count Sosa. I don't count any of those seasons that they had. We all know they were all juiced up. And unless you're going to let everybody juice up all the time, you can't have that kind of an advantage. So I forget about that. 61, Roger Maris, 61 home runs for the 1961 New York Yankees is still, in my estimation, the record to beat. And it looks like Aaron Judge is going to do it. Aaron Judge is just on a tear, man. This guy, when he gets up to the plate, whoo, man, I become baseball gay for Aaron Judge. Every time I see him standing at the plate, he is a monster up there. He just looks like a ball player. With that having been said, two home runs last day. Come on, 2 home runs in Fenway. Okay, so what were they? Judge's first homer was 383 feet. Okay, respectable. That's fine. 383 and 379. That's what it says here. Those are pop flies. Sorry, that's a can of corn. That's a can of corn in them. But hey, this is fun. If you're a baseball fan, this is fun. These are the sort of things that we look forward to in every season. These little things that pop up, whether it's a hitting streak or an Ironman streak or a home run record or an RBI record or something to do with pitching, wins, strikeouts. These are the things that bubble up every season that are exciting. Aaron Judge having a hell of a season. Kind of looks like a horse, though. He looks like a horse. He looks like BoJack Horseman to me. That's every time he comes up to the plate, I'm like, there are some equine characteristics in this dude that. Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney are trending. Ryan Reynolds, of course, a big-time movie star. Rob McElhenney, you may not know, he's Mac on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He's the creator and the producer and one of the stars of that show. He creates a lot of TV. He's a producer, writer, creator. So they got this thing. They're buddies, and they bought a soccer team. They bought a soccer team in Wales, and they've got a new reality series called Welcome to Wrexham about the team that they bought. 2 Hollywood guys go in together, and they buy a professional soccer team, and they try and turn them around. So that's why they're trending. But something interesting happened here. Ryan Reynolds lost a bet to Ryan McElhenney. And I don't know if this is in one of the episodes of Welcome to Wrexham, because I watched the first episode. I went, oh, this is good. I'm going to wait for all of them, and then I'll binge them all at once, and I'll be able to watch the series on my own time and not have to be a victim to appointment TV. Actor Ryan Reynolds revealed Tuesday that a colonoscopy he underwent in jest after losing a bet revealed a polyp. His doctor said the procedure could have saved his life. This was potentially life-saving for you, his doctor, Jonathan Lepuc, said in a video Reynolds shared. I'm not kidding. I'm not being overly dramatic here. Reynolds chronicled the colonoscopy procedure after betting fellow actor and friend Rob McElhenney that he couldn't speak Welsh fluently. All right, so I guess Ryan Reynolds bet Rob McElhenney. He said, I'm learning how to speak Welsh now. And he said, you can't speak Welsh. And he said, yes, I can. And he said, fluently. And he said, yeah. And he said, okay, let's bet. Bet was if Rob McElhenney could speak Welsh fluently, you got to get the guy got to poke around in your butt, right? Aha, big funny, good joke. Apparently Rob McElhenney spoke Welsh fluently. And Ryan Reynolds went and got himself a colonoscopy, and it revealed that he had some colorectal cancer polyps that were then taken away. And look at that. Colonoscopies, important. Hold on, I got to let the dog in. Did you hear? She was just barking. All right, that's why Ryan Reynolds, actually, that's why colonoscopy is trending, but Go, come on, let's go. Go lay down. Good girl. All right. Sorry about that. It's Wednesday. It's a pool day. Pool guy was here. The dog was locked up in the big house. Now the pool guy's gone, and she wants to come back and hang out with me. Hello, girl. You just stay there. Okay. As I say, I'm fascinated by what the dog must think is happening here, because the dog just sees me sitting here just talking, just blah, blah, making noise. The dog is like, you're not talking to anybody. Let's see, what else do we have? Baby Shark. Baby Shark is trending. Remember that song, Baby Shark? Let me see. Baby Shark is trending because a prisoner in Oklahoma was found dead in his cell after guards made him listen to Baby Shark on repeat for like 5 hours. An Oklahoma inmate who was accused prison officials of forcing him to listen to the children's song Baby Shark for hours on repeat has been found dead in his cell. Not funny. No, not funny, but weird. So, a prisoner found dead in his cell has been forced to listen to the children's song Baby Shark for hours. John Basco, 48, was found unresponsive in his cell at the Oklahoma County Detention Center after making an allegation of torture against a group of prison officers. He was among a group of inmates. So the Baby Shark playing didn't kill him. So they made him listen to Baby Shark over and over for hours, and then he complained about it, and then he was found dead in his cell. So just so that we can get this all straight, it's not like listening to Baby Shark killed him or that he killed himself. Okay, whatever. I don't know. It's like I read the story. I'm looking at the picture of this guy. My view on crime and prisoners and all of that this month, my view on it this month, because we're all very fluid. My view on it this month, I think might be a little bit skewed because I'm re-binging The Wire or the Shield. The Shield, that cop show, that show about cops busting gang violence in South Central. I've been watching that for like the last couple of weeks. So I'm like really angry at gangbangers. I've been watching depictions of how awful they are. So I see this story about guards making them listen to Baby Shark. And I'm like, it serves them right. Although I know. And that's why I say this month, my view, I know that view is artificially informed by the fact that I watch about 3 or 4 hours of The Shield every night. So Jesse Powell is trending. Now, I don't know who Jesse Powell is, but he's been trending for about 12 hours. Apparently, he's an R&B singer. 51-year-old Jesse Powell, R&B singer. He died. Yeah, they don't know why. They don't know how. He was found dead in his home. I'm not a big fringe R&B fan. Like, if there's a huge R&B song, I'll know it just because I live in a world where, I'm exposed to these things. But if it's a bit more of like it didn't cross over. It was really only played on like soul stations or whatever. I don't know. The song was called You. Do you guys remember the song? I do not remember the song. Let's give it a listen here. This is Jesse Powell, You. I guess this was his biggest hit. I don't know who Jesse Powell is. I can tell you right now, one of the reasons that I don't like this kind of music, I call it baby woo-woo music. I don't like any song where you could at any point in the song just drop in a baby woo-woo. Any song where you can drop that in and it'll work. A baby woo-woo. Anything like that. Any song where that works, I'm out. I don't listen to that garbage. This sounds like a baby woo-woo song. Baby woo, baby woo, baby woo, woo. I finally found the nerve to say, oh, baby woo, woo. See, you can try. Gonna make a change in my life, starting here today. Baby, baby, woo, woo. Surrender all my love. I never thought I could. Baby, say woo, woo. All my love away, and there's only one reason. Come on, baby, woo. You make me feel so woo. why I don't know this song. This is absolute garbage. It sounds like all the other I make no distinction between that and like a million other baby, whoa, whoa songs. But it's sad. He died. He was young. He was 51 years old. He had a hit. He had a hit. He probably had a more exciting life than I did. He's just, when I die, if I drop dead tomorrow, there isn't going to be any show like this saying, hey, Pugs Moran dropped dead. It's not going to happen. So, he had a more successful life than me, but don't. All right, what else we got? That can't be it. That can't be it for what I've prepared. Did I skip over something? I feel like I must have skipped over something. No, we got all that. Oh, man. Okay. Do you guys know I skipped over this because it's like sometimes I skip over stories. Like if I feel I've produced some form of energy in the previous story, and now I've got a story where I've got to downshift and I've got to kind of change the whole vibe and the narrative flow of it. I'll just skip over the story. I'll be like, So I skipped over this because I didn't want to go into it. But it was do you know why wonton killing is trending? Have you guys seen this? Wonton killing. Like wonton soup. Like wonton. 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 Oh, man. All right. So that Lorraine Bobert, whatever. I don't even pay enough attention to her. She is just... I have such a weird... I'm kind of attracted to her. You know what I mean? Like physically, like just looking at Lorraine Bobert, I'm like, okay, I kind of like that. But then it's like, I also hate her, but she's not, she's not terrible to look at. She's got like kind of a thing that I'm attracted to. Okay, let's get past that. But man, oh man, is she a stupid person. She's a dumb person. She is a dumb person. And I cannot, please, you cannot consider yourself a serious person and think that this dumb person is in any way qualified to lead any of us in any way, shape, or form. I wouldn't even want this woman running the fucking cookie handout at, the school for, kid's birthday party or I can't. So this is what she did. And this is just so, I didn't want to show it, but we'll show it because it's kind of funny. Why not? Let's just go into it. So she made a speech and she was, because, she's all about the Bible. She knows the Bible because that's her whole thing. She's Christian guns and, MAGA and all, just fucking whatever. She's just a nut. Former escort, all of that stuff. So she got up and she started making a speech where she was reading a Bible verse because, she's very Bible-y. And, all right, so here, let's watch this. Wonton killing. Oh, my God. All right, never mind. I can't find it now. I can't believe that. Son of a bitch. All right, hold on. Let me find it. We'll find it. You just have to take a second here. Hey, the show should have been over. I ran out of content about 3 minutes ago, so we'll just consider this extra time. Here we go. All right. Baby, make me feel so woo, 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 woo. All right. Let's see about this. Here we go. All right, let's watch this ridiculous display of stupidity. And it's not cute. It's not. She doesn't understand the mistake that she's just made, but she knows that she has made a mistake of some sort, so she tries to cover it up by being cutesy, and it really backfires on her because it's like, oh my God, you're trying to be cute. Really what you've done is you've exposed that you've never heard the phrase wanton before. A wanton killing. She's reading a Bible verse where it says wanton killing, and she calls it wonton killings, and then explains how she doesn't know what Just watch.
All hell broke loose. Rampant, evil, grabbing and grasping, vicious, backstabbing. They made life hell on earth with wonton killing. I don't know what a wonton killing is. I'm gonna have to look that one up. But it sounds interesting. I don't think I want to be a part of it.
That's shameful. That is a shameful level of stupidity. To read the word wanton killing and not and spell it, and first of all, pronounce it as wonton, and then not even understand. It's not cute anymore. It's not cute. All of you lefties who are out there pushing this shit around going, ha ha, let's all laugh at her because she's dumb. Shut up. Shut up. Stop laughing at her because she's dumb. Get angry that there are people out there who are putting dumb people in charge of important shit. Get angry. Stop acting like it's cute. Oh, it's so cute. Look at her. Oh, she didn't know what it meant. Look at her. She joked. She was very proud of herself, too, when she had that aside. I don't know what a wonton killing is, but sounds interesting. It's not a wonton killing, you dumb. It's a wanton. 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 It's a word, you illiterate bitch. Ooh, that was a little bit hard. It's just no respect. No respect. It's not cute. I'm just tired of it. All of these lefties who are pushing this shit in their shit. Really, let's make fun of Lorraine. But no, let's not. Let's not make fun of her anymore. Let's get angry that there are many of us who are in league with her. Let's just take that as an example of holy shit, are people dumb? Holy shit, are people illiterate in this society? Wonton killing? You're a fucking congresswoman. Wonton killing? It's wanton. It's wanton, you dumb bitch. And what's the other one with her gazpacho tactics? Biden's got a secret police unit. He's deploying gazpacho. Gazpacho. That was Marjorie Taylor Greene, right? Didn't know the word Gestapo. She got Gestapo and gazpacho confused. Wonton. I don't know what wonton is. She thought she was so cute. She thought she was playing it off. It's embarrassing. All right, let's see here. What else do we have? Let's run through some of the trends that are popping up now. Stuff that maybe I missed. Maybe something happened. I don't know, maybe nothing happened. Who knows? Okay, so well, why is Jesse Powell still trending? I'm telling you, baby, whoa, Jesse Powell died. I don't know. I feel like is that a blind spot? Should I know who Jesse Powell is? I don't. Super echo on the video. Okay. All right. Yes, Jeff, extra time. This show, you people think there was an announcement coming on Monday when I said on Friday that I'll have an announcement next week, and now you're all angry that it didn't happen Monday. Jeff Ballard thinks that this show has a set time. This show has never had a set time. I have never said it ends at 2. I have said around about 2, sometimes more, sometimes less. Don't get it. Oh, hey, by the way, Jeff, I'm so sorry, man. Jeff sent me a note on Facebook like a long time ago. A bunch of people are sending me stuff. I'm just seeing it now on Facebook. It's because there's like a different, like if you send it to the Pugs and Company thing, I don't get it. So I apologize, Jeff, man. I'm sorry. I just saw that Jeff had sent me a note and I didn't respond to it until like 10 weeks later. And I'm like, ugh. Yeah. Guam is trending. Quick, where's Guam? Where's Guam? I don't know. Guam's South Pacific, right? Guam's like Hawaiian Polynesia kind of a thing, right? It's not like near the Bahamas or anything. No. Guam is trending. I don't know why Guam is trending. Let's see here. All right. No idea why Guam is trending. Oh, okay. Some. I don't know. I don't know why Guam is trending. I can't really tell. There's a whole bunch of things. So let's look. Guam's not that interesting on a good day. I don't know why it's trending today. Chrome is trending. I'm trying to use Chrome. Bridget, the latest developer. Okay. You know what? Twitter trends really suck. Lately it's been all gaming, boy bands, wrestling, and like lefty garbage. Well, that's probably just because of where I follow. Mike Lindell is trending. Apparently, the FBI came after Mike Lindell at a Hardee's and took his phone. So Mike Lindell is trending. I love the idea that you could walk into a random Hardee's, go, that dude looks like Mike Lindell, and it very well could be Mike Lindell. I love that. Brett Favre is trending. Air Force One is trending. Why is Air Force One trending? Oh my God. Let's see why this is trending. If it was something important, Air Force One would be trending at number one. All right, never mind. Okay, I don't care. That's the Air Force One is trending for divisive reasons, so we won't talk about it. But apparently Trump is being accused of using Air Force One for private things, so whatever. So we won't get into it. Al Bundy. So why is Al Bundy trending? Let's see. You can only say, okay, all right, why not? We can do this one. All right, we'll have a little fun here. Why not, right? All right, let's go to there we go. All right. I'm just looking at this now so we can go through this together. See if we can figure this out. Bring in the chat room for it. All right, here we go. All right, so what's the question here? The question is, you can only save 2 of these TV dads from being replaced. Which 2 do you choose? All right, so the question, as I read it, is give me the 2 best TV dads. Who are the 2 best TV dads here? All right, top row from left to right. We've got Philip Banks from The Fresh Prince, Uncle Phil. He's not even a dad, so he's gone. Carl Winslow from Family Matters. Okay. Dan Connor from Roseanne. Red Foreman, middle row, from That 70s Show. Tim Taylor from Home Improvement. Danny Tanner from Full House. Sheriff Andy Taylor from Andy Griffith. Al Bundy from Married with Children. Al Bundy's gone. He's not a good dad. He was a shit dad. Fred Sanford, another shit dad. Fred Sanford's gone. All right, so we've eliminated Philip Banks for not being a dad, Al Bundy for being a shit dad, Fred Sanford also for being a shit dad. And that leaves us with Carl Winslow from Family Matters, Dan Connor, Red Foreman from That 70s Show, Dan Connor from Roseanne, Danny Tanner, and Sheriff Andy Taylor. All right, so we got to keep 2 out of those. All right, first one I'm keeping is Dan Connor. Dan Connor's my favorite TV dad of all time. Red Foreman kind of sucked as a dad, right? That 70s Show, he was a dick. He was like a dick who was not really into, telling his kids that he loved them and stuff. So Red Foreman's gone. Tim Taylor, Home Improvement. One slot is gone. Dan Connor has already been spoken for. Dan Connor, John Goodman from Roseanne has already made it. Tim Taylor. All right, let's table Tim Taylor because let's compare. All right, let's compare him to Danny Tanner of Full House. So Tim Taylor of Home Improvement versus Danny Tanner of Full House. I'm going Danny Tanner. 7 days a week. Danny Tanner. Tim Taylor. Danny Tanner was doing it alone. Well, that's not true. He had 2 dudes with him. Still, I think Danny Tanner seemed like he was on TV, Well, so was Tim Taylor, though. Tim Taylor was, that's right. They were both TV stars. So they both had the same job. All right, Danny Tanner's in, Tim Taylor's out. So I got Dan Connor and Danny Tanner. All right, those are my 2 right now. So now, is Andy Taylor from the Andy Griffith Show, is he a better dad than either Dan Connor or Danny Tanner? Yeah, probably. We're going to get rid of Danny Tanner, and there you have it. There's your winners, Dan Connor of Roseanne and Sheriff Andy Taylor from the Andy Griffith Show. There you go, folks. We just killed off a good 5 minutes doing that bit. Ross says Uncle Phil took his nephew as his own. He deserves a spot, but Danny Tanner was probably the best one. Danny Tanner's not the best one. Dan Connor's the best one. Adam says missing Homer Simpson and Hank Hill. Nah, they're both shit dads. I won't even get into the fact that they're not real, but Cam Grant says, sorry, Cameron, my bad. Phil was a dad. He was Carlton's dad. Great point. But I think, the titular Fresh Prince was not his son. So, go. Uncle Phil had 3 kids on the Fresh Prince. He came to, yeah. I mean, I get that. But again, not the titular character. So, there's my choices. Dan Connor from Roseanne, and Andy Griffith. All right. So that's why Al Bundy is trending. Why are people like saying Al? Why is Al Bundy trending because of that? Al Bundy ain't a good dad. Al Bundy's a bad dad. Who's PWI 500? I don't know who that is. PWI 500 is trending, and there's a picture of a wrestler. Is that a dude's name? That's a terrible name. If that's your name, that's a really bad name to try and brand. All right, guys, I think that's going to do it. I think we're about it. We'll come in. We're coming 15 minutes short. If you're going by the Jeff Ballard rules of this show. Well, you know what, Jeff? Hey, you know what? Jeff Ballard is a good supporter of this show, so he's got a right to be upset. He can. I will take his complaints seriously. What's this here? All right, there we go. Okay, you know what? This is good. There are dads that were left off of that list. Are there any dads that were left off of that list that we should consider? We ended up with Sheriff Andy Taylor and Dan Connor, but Alan Thicke was a great dad. Alan Thicke from Growing Pains. Was it Growing Pains? Was Family Ties. Both of them were great. What about Michael Gross? Michael J. Fox is the Keatons, right? He was great too. I would take, okay, let's see who else. Who else do we have for good dads? Good TV dads. What I always like is a TV dad. And let's stick with sitcoms. Let's not go into like hour-long. Let me see here. TV dads. Ross Rubio wonders why Cosby wasn't on it. He's a good dad. Yeah, if they had done this 15 years ago before he, before we knew how rapey he was, Cosby probably would have been the winner. How about Mike Brady? How about Mike Brady? He was a great dad. How about Courtship of Eddie's father? Huh? How about Bill Bixby? He was a great dad. Bill Bixby was awesome. Who else? Things are going good. Al Gamboa throwing down some Fred McMurray from My Three Sons. Absolutely. Doing it all on his own. No, he's not. He had Uncle Charlie. And I think he probably also had a maid. Let's be honest. Fred McMurray and My Three Sons actually had it pretty good. James Evans, Ross says. James Evans is a difficult one. James Evans, of course, the father from Good Times. He abandoned the family. How you gonna do that? How you gonna, Ross? Come on, baby. He abandoned the family and then he died. Besides, he was always angry. He was always pissed off about something. All right, guys. Regarding the big announcement. Yeah, it's a big announcement. It is probably going to be, now look at me right here, setting a time for the big announcement. The big announcement will be Friday. As I just check my, hold on. It's all I need is all I need. Yeah. All right. Friday, you will get your big announcement. There's a lot of dust that needs to settle, a lot of things that need to be signed. And then, there you go. Tomorrow is another day. The best is yet to come. Tip the show as always. We do that. This is the last month that we'll be openly asking for tips, but we'll take your tips. things about to change around here. By the way, with the big announcement, it should be mentioned. This show, not changing at all. Really, like I said, the only thing that's going to change about this show is that I'm not going to be hitting people up for, what this show is going to be. Wow, I'm still going to accept tips. I'm going to leave those open. You guys can still tip if you want, and that would be nice. But it's not required to keep this operation running. We've the Pillow Talk show. Pillow Talk show might be altered slightly, but again, only in that maybe the hours will change. Maybe we'll see. All right, love you. Be back tonight at 9 p.m. for Pugs and Parker proudly present Pillow Talk. Bye, everybody. Oh, shut up, Byron. Will it be more time structured?